Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Leverage with Damien Johns and Lewis Bell. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you've had a great week. For those Australians who may have a Melbourne Cup hangover or be holding a little ticket with a winner, I hope you've had a win today on Gold Trip, I think was the winner. 20-1 winner. So happy days if you got on there. Valerio looks like he's had some success. He's pumping the sky there. So well done, mate, if you've won
Has
that.
he?
Yeah, had a win.
On ya, mate, on ya.
That's a 20x, that one. Happy days.
That was
That's
good.
some good odds.
Do you guys find yourself relating everything to like 3x or 10x now? I do. I'm always like, oh, that's a 20x win on that horse. Happy
That is
days.
good.
Yeah, it's a good one. How are you, Louis?
Yeah, good, mate. Good.
Yeah,
Busy
good.
week. Unfortunately, I didn't have any luck on the cup today, so I copped a bit of a loss, but that's all right.
Don't hate it.
It was a calculated loss.
Well, at least you set your stop loss. Happy days.
That's exactly right.
And special guest Chrisso. We've worn hats in memory of Chrisso here tonight. So Chrisso, I'm not really sure if he's got hair or not. So we'll find out maybe one day. But tonight's not the night. Wearing his cap. So welcome, Chrisso, mate. Good to have you on board as our co-host.
Yes, mate.
And we'll be checking in with Chrisso shortly. So Louis, what are you seeing, mate? What are you seeing in the market? Anything out there?
I'll throw my screen up real quickly because I've got this analysis on Bitcoin just sitting here. Give me 1 second. Where are we? Trade and view. Yeah, it's a similar thing to last week. Hey, like I just I'm not really bullish on Bitcoin until we break through this resistance level up here. So it's tested it twice now and rejected both times. Yeah, just not really sold on a bullish breakout yet. So I'm just baiting my breath.
Yeah, with Bitcoin doing what it's doing, it's hitting, and it kind of gives you that feeling that it's going to go, and people are entering longs, and then suddenly, boom, back she comes, and that next candle is just wiping people out. So if you're out there putting positions in, guys, make sure it clears that yellow zone before you kind of start to look. So it's resisted twice, so you really want that to be pushing through that area before you be entering any longs. So I'm gonna highlight a couple of things I'm looking at tonight, but again, they're kind of futuristic in that we just need to wait a little bit. You know, that the thing is though, with the amount of volume that seems to be in, it could happen in the next 24 hours, or it could take a week. It's just one of those things that we've just got to be patient with. So just be careful, you guys out there, and make sure you are indeed doing your analysis and putting your support and resistance in the right place and things like that. So we're going to have a look at that tonight, actually, a little bit, but we'll cross over to Chrisso. We'll check in with him, mate. And how are you, buddy?
Yeah, doing well, man.
That's good. So can you just tell us a little, so each week we highlight someone in our space and just ask a couple of questions, see where they live, what they're up to, you know, if they got some kids or some wives or husbands or whatever. So yeah, mate. So where are you based?
Yeah, I'm in Brisbane, or just west of Brisbane.
Whereabouts?
In Queensland. So town called Damien Heights. It's yeah, just out of the city a bit. So
Nice.
Just around the corner from me, actually.
Yeah, it's just around the corner from me too. Happy days.
Yeah,
quite a friendly neighbourhood.
Yeah, we'll have to catch up soon. What about you just got married a couple of weeks ago, mate?
Yeah, tied the knot. Well, been engaged for a few years now. I'm a partner for around 12 years. Got 2 kids. My daughter's 6 and my son's 4.
Oh, geez.
He's 4 this month, actually, nearly 4. So
that'd be hectic. You see all the parents on the Zoom going.
Yeah.
I can hear your pain.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm. No, 4 and 6 is exciting, mate. They're cool. Their personality is starting to bubble out, so it's a good little time for you. So congrats, mate. And came up to beautiful Noosa for your honeymoon, I see.
Yeah, it was a great week away. Ditched the kids for the week too, which is a bonus.
How good. How good's Noosa? Mate, tell us about your time in the crypto space. How long you've been around, and what made you come into what we do?
I've been here since been in the crypto for a few years, but in the trading space since pretty much March this year. And I've always had an open mind, but just never really got into the crypto side, the trading side of things. So I actually reached out to Lewis, and after seeing some of his content was, real appealing, and just jumped on board from there because I could see how much potential there was. So
Yeah, cool. And what would you say to someone who's kind of getting started? Like March, that's about 6 or 7 months. So what would you say to someone who's just kind of starting now? Because a few people on the call who are relatively new to trading.
Oh, just stick to it. Like it, things you can hit the like big hurdles and stuff, but you'll jump them with ease. Like you hit those walls that you can climb over, and just get on the calls and stuff as well. You learn so much from the hangouts and just getting involved and staying close to the fire. Like just ask questions and just keep pushing through it.
Yeah, and one of my guys said to me today, he goes, I jumped on Phil's call last night. He said it was so good because there was hardly anyone on there because of the holiday season. And he goes, I was asking questions, and he said I was getting direct feedback from mentors, which is magic. Like, if you guys aren't on Phil's calls and you're new, then you're missing out because he's so good at kind of just breaking things down really simply. So if you're not on there, I'm sure people can relate about how good Phil is with newbies particularly. So yeah, he's really cool. So Chrisso, what kind of thing do you look for when you trade, mate? What's your favorite type of trading that you do?
Well, I've kind of just been keeping it simple as well with the break and retest. I've branched out into the 15-minute scalps a few times, but I'm still sticking to the break and retest, especially because the way the market's been. So I haven't really done too much apart from that.
Yeah, nice. Pretty safe in this market, mate, to be doing the break retest thing. It's not something that you want to overcomplicate. So well done.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of trades or any questions for us that you'd like to ask before we kind of move on, or are you happy just to take a seat and enjoy the show?
Yeah, no, I'm happy just to take a seat and listen
sweet.
in. So
sweet, mate. Feel free to contribute at any time. You are one of the co-hosts tonight, so turn your microphone up if you feel like you can contribute. So it's nice to have you, pal, and thanks for jumping on and sharing your story.
Awesome. Thanks for making me feel welcome.
No worries, buddy. Everyone's welcome, aren't they, Louis?
Everybody's welcome.
Everybody's welcome. We love
friendly
people.
Space.
We love people. We love them. Hey, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that I'm looking at. If you don't mind, Lewis, I'll go first tonight.
Yeah, take it away, mate. Take it away.
Can I just share my screen if you don't mind?
Oh, mate. Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Let me just set that up for you. There you go. You're good to go.
So I just wanted to kind of raise a couple of things. Hopefully you can see that. So a lot of the coins at the moment are just kind of wedging toward this triangle of resistance here. So something that I just want to highlight to some of you would be this. So if we zoom in a little bit and just take a snapshot of this kind of thing, and let's just say that that's probably a bit too much, Damien. Let's just say that we don't have that line there and we don't have that line there. What you might just see is a range trade, particularly if you're kind of trying to find, like, zoom in and read the candles and trying to find something there. So you might think, oh, there's nothing there. It's kind of support and resistance, so you move on. But what I encourage you to do, and if you've ever noticed how Joel shares his trades, they're always really zoomed out. Like, they look more like that. So that gives you a bit of a better perspective on what the market's doing over a longer period of time. Now, in the education that we've all done, it really highlights that I can't talk and draw at the same time. Can you believe that? It really highlights the it really highlights the need to zoom out and actually get a better picture. And what that also does is allow you to put your support and resistance in the right place. So maybe back up here, when that was zoomed right in, you might have your resistance line more there on this here, and be overlooking the actual market structure that's been formed before it. So I guess the take-home message here from me tonight is always zoom out, have a better look, and that way you're able to see a bit more of the structure. You can find your EQ zones. You can probably set your support and resistance a little better and stuff like that. So it's just something to be aware of, even going to daily and zooming out, and then coming back into, because if you go to the daily and zoom out and then you're thinking bullish, if you look at that, that's bearish as anything like on an overall trend. So I just don't want you to kind of get too excited about kind of pushing bulls or bears around, and just really take a good look. So yeah, I guess you get what I mean, in that you just need to really take a good look at the whole situation.
A good point, Damo. It's very similar to like changing from candlesticks to like a line graph. It can just, if you zoom out, it can just help remove a lot of the noise. Because if you're zoomed in real close and you're looking at every tiny little bit of market structure and every little wick, you're gonna be if you're really close, you can be like, where the hell do I put support and resistance? Like, it's just gonna confuse you.
Yeah, and to use your favorite word, Louis, choppy. Sometimes it can be over choppy, and you kind of don't really know where you're sitting. So when you zoom out on something like this on a 4 hour, you can get a lot better perspective. Now, the old me probably would have put a resistance line, a support line, sorry, here, and thought, oh, there's nothing on, you know. But the new me kind of looks for these EQ zones where it might have touched here and here and here. So from now on, I kind of have a look more at the zones that it's both been support and resistance, and try and find those areas. So this one here, I'm kind of interested in alpha. I did actually enter this a little bit early. I entered this yesterday, and it kind of come down. I entered it here, and it came down, and it's retested it. So look, it may come back and bite me, but I'm kind of committed to this one. So I'm going to ride that one out. But I like the way that it keeps pushing this, and it's got a little bit of momentum there. So I think I shared that one actually the other day in our chat. This one, Ape, is something that I was talking to the chat last night about, and it had a couple of candles that were on the 1 hour. I think they were. Oh no, here. Sorry, here it was. It was here. These candles here. I was like, oh, this is going to go. Like, it was hammer, hammer, hammer. But in hindsight, I got stopped out, got my pants pulled down, and so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it now to see, is it going to push back up? The momentum's somewhat bearish, but it's also, sorry, the momentum's bullish if you're looking at it from the bottom, but if you're looking from the top, it's kind of creating that market structure back that way. So I'm not entered that, but I'm just kind of watching it to see what it does. Adam, I think, was an interesting one. Yeah, so it's actually broken that trend. So this trend's been going since the 25th of October. So this one's kind of created that trend, and just tonight, actually, and this last candle that it's currently on for another hour or so, it's actually popped down. So that's something that's kind of caught my attention. It also has a really long-term trend if I zoom out, which kind of sits all the way through back to June. And that trend's kind of been respected that whole time. So it's like come back and respected that trend there. So it's kind of a bit of a junction point for me at Adam at the moment. What's it going to do? So is it going to push through there and keep going? Is it going to bounce off there and come back? Not really sure, but it's definitely on my watch list. AVAX is forming a bit of a channel. I think I just shared that one in our chat. So that is just forming a channel. I actually really like forming channels because you can get a bit of perspective on where it may or may not pop through. And when you use a channel indicator, which is just found up here, in here, you can actually get a halfway point, which gives you an idea. Now, it doesn't say much on the daily, but when you, well, it's sticking to the daily for the last week or so through that channel. But when you come into the probably the hourly, actually gives you a better picture, and you're able to see that where exactly within that channel it's sitting. So that one's just kind of respecting that channel up and down, and you know, I could use that as a point of resistance, that, and if it pushes through, it pushes through, or I could use it as a type of support coming down. So I'll probably spend some more time drawing that when I get off this call, and just kind of trying to analyze it a little better. But it's kind of coming, it's trying to think about, you know, is it going to push this? Maybe that could come down a little bit if I zoomed out and had a bit of a better look. So let's do that now. Go to the 4 hourly and just see what it's doing. So yeah, see this line here is something that interests me here. It's a massive big push off this support line. So coming through here, it's touched it again. So yeah, it's kind of at that point where I am definitely sparking a bit of interest there. So I've got that on my list, and then I wanted to come down here to chilies. Something about chilies that both annoys me and excites me at the same time. But what I did was I charted this one up just with support and resistance, and then what I did was I looked at this. So I'll kind of start again with it. I looked at support and resistance. Yeah, right. We'll get rid of that. I'll do that later. And then I thought to myself, well, you know what? It's shot up and it's kind of formed that pennant kind of shape here. But at the same time, if I'm looking at, and I kind of turn my head sideways like this, and then I go, righto, if I'm going to draw a channel on it, then maybe there's something there. So I just think to myself, well, let's just see. And then when you do that, then it's suddenly sitting in the channel, even though it's popped out there, it's kind of fallen back in. So my question is it retesting that channel? Is it going to push through that channel? And if it does, then I'll set up a position there long. If it doesn't and it comes down, then I've got my support and resistance, which has clearly been respected. So this one here, it's really been respected, pushed through. It's pushed up, pushed there and been respected, and retrospectively it's been respected as well. And then it's come down, and then it's had some massive push through there, and it's kind of teetering on this. So it doesn't seem to be falling to retest this line here, which makes me think that it could have some bullish push to it. So that was that. And then what I did was I jumped on fibs and I looked at it from there, but that's just too far back because that push wasn't strong enough. And you could say, oh, well, you know, it's pushed off the 38 and gone again, but it's kind of not really pushed. So I thought to myself, no, I'll redraw it from here, which is probably more accurate where the push began. And it actually has bounced off the 50 and it seems to be pushing up. So I'm just going to see if it comes back down to the 50 or the 61 in that channel and just kind of see kind of what I'm looking at there. But it's just too early to tell at this stage. If anyone's got an opinion on that or someone wants to throw something in, I'm more than happy to get your feedback on that one because it looks really busy, but that's kind of my logic behind it. So that's it from me. But yeah, so if anyone wants to kind of have a look at those again or wants me to show anything there, I'm more than happy to do so. If not, I'll throw to Louis, and if he's got nothing, we'll throw to all you guys to share some stuff.
Cool. Thanks, bro. So I have had a quick little scan before, but I'm not really too keen on anything. There's one that I was looking at. I'll just share my screen. Hang on.
You just override me.
Yeah, I'll just kick you off, mate. I'll just take control, just dominate.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Ball, however you want to say it, like it's just broken to me. It's sitting sort of at a bit of. Oh, okay, let me take it back a little bit. Slow down, Lewis. So, Gabrielle asked a question before about EQ zones, like what an EQ zone is. So, it's essentially, I answered in the chat, but I said I'd give a bit of an example on a chart. So it's essentially like a level of support or resistance that keeps sort of flipping between support and resistance. So it's like, for instance, like if we look at this line through the middle here, this is a bit of an EQ because back here we had support. Okay, so multiple tests, strong level of support, broke through, come down. Then later on, back up here, we've had it act as a level of resistance. So it's resistance there, resistance a couple of times there. We've come back, broken through it. It's come back. It's been support for a period there. Then it's come back down. It's tested that level again as resistance. Come across here, like, oh gosh, we've found a level of support. Like, so you see how it's like, it's the same level, but it's flipping continuously between support and resistance. Like, Brody had a really good way of describing it once where it's like a level that, it's like a magnet that price keeps getting pulled towards. So that's consider an EQ level, something like that. And yeah, they're everywhere on charts. Like you find them all over the place. And like even like this line down here as well. This is another EQ because we've had these areas here where resistance come back, it's found support through that zone, come down, come back up, found support again, support, so, and then we came back down all the way down on this run, found support there again, and came back up. So I'm looking, because this is quite a strong EQ. We've just broken through this EQ level and we're sort of coming back to retest it at the moment. Strong uptrend, so it's not a bad setup for me, but still I'm not going to enter it. Reason being because of Bitcoin. Like I'm just not sold. I really, like, if I'm going to be going long on setups like that, I really want clearance of like this 21k level up here.
Yeah, and by the time it passes that 21k level, some of the positions that you may be charting at the moment might just be invalidated. So make sure that when you wait for that to happen, if you've got the pro version of TradingView, you can set an alarm so that you don't have to keep watching it. So what you might do is set 2 rays and set an alarm on both the rays above and below where it is currently, and set an alert, and that way you're able to go and live your life, and TradingView will tell you when to come back to the screen when it does that. If anyone wants me to show an example of that, I'm more than happy to show you in the share my screen in a sec. Can I just ask Gabriella, you've said that Chile's might go up due to the World Cup. Can you let me know why you have said that? Because which World Cup?
Unmute yourself if you want, and jump on.
The T20 World Cup's on at the moment in the Gabba.
Share some knowledge.
Yeah, tell us. No, we can't hear you, Gabriella. Yeah.
You unmuted yourself. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Sorry. I hate that when someone wants to jump on and they can't hear them.
It doesn't work.
Oh, Soccer World Cup. Soccer World Cup. So Chile's might go up as a result of that. Okay. I'll have to do some research. You got any familiarization with that, Louis?
Actually, Chrisso probably knows more about it than I do, because he's the one that told me about it. It's got a strong association with soccer, as I like to call it.
Hit me, Chrisso. What do you got?
Yeah, so you can get like fan tokens. It's been pretty bullish through the Euros that were recently on, so it may have already had a run, but I have a feeling, I'm not too sure. I'm not too deep into it with the World Cup side of things, but it may have another run. But you can get like fan tokens for different clubs and all that kind of stuff, so you can interact that way. I don't know, there's a fair bit to it, but yeah, pretty much it's all soccer related. Actually, it's got a lot of sports you can get involved with, like MMA and stuff, but soccer's a strong one because of the World Cup. Yeah, and it's like AR as well, so that's how I first found out about it. So there's tokens you can collect daily, and that's what I do. So like I'll go for a walk with because I got a step and shoe back in the day as well, so I got that. And then with the Chile's fan base thing, you can collect the tokens like just by walking around and clicking on them. You can get the Socios fan tokens and then Chile's tokens. So I've just been accumulating them for like the last year and a half.
Yeah, right.
And you can essentially use those tickets, those tokens to pay for. It's more beneficial for people in, say, Europe and stuff, because you can use them for tickets and merchandise, and just contribute towards whatever team you support.
Yeah. Okay. Oh well, then maybe my analysis will be correct. Let's hope. So that Chile's trade that I've actually showed you just there is actually a 2.4 risk to reward ratio. So it's not a bad one. So it's definitely worth a look. So look at all the fans in the chat. We've got South Americans, Italians. They're all going nuts. I'm sure John's sitting there going, no. Great Britain have got them. Happy days. So there's Australia. We got nothing in the World Cup soccer. Let's just be honest. We're like, bring on the rugby, bring on the cricket. Soccer, nothing. Thanks for that, Chrisso, mate. I didn't know. And thanks for Gabriella for contributing that one. Flo's going, yes, Viva Italia, or is that French? Is that Viva la France? What? Yeah, okay, I'm a bit confused. I got no idea. all the Italians are
Vive
going.
la France is French.
Oh, right. Okay. All the Italians are going, what is this bloke doing?
Oh Lord.
Well, you can call me that if you like. So what we're going to do now is, hang on, show the channel indicator. Serena, it's just on the trend line one where you draw the trend line. If you just click on the little arrow beside the trend line, scroll down the bottom, you can find the parallel channel.
Oh, come on, mate. You can't just people don't understand you, mate. You gotta demonstrate. So yeah, it's up in this one, isn't it? It's the parallel channel.
Yeah.
Where your trend line is, where your horizontal line is, where all of these tools are, this top one. It's this parallel channel one here.
Yeah. I'm actually sitting here using a television. I've got a 55-inch TV because I'm in the process of moving house. So all the screens that I ordinarily use are all over the place. So I'm kind of like sitting here and I actually don't even know where I am half the time. I had to move a surfboard because it was appearing in the background before. So there's stuff everywhere in my house at the moment. So thanks, Lewis, for saving me, mate. I appreciate you.
I got you, mate. We're in this together.
Yeah, good. Hey, that Elon coin, I like that. I jumped on that on the weekend and won a little bit of money there. So
you got a short, didn't you?
Yeah, so if you zoom right in there on that pump, I caught that as that red candle began coming down.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah. So that pump. I woke up at like 4 a.m. and it was right up high, and then it had come down to that wick. And then just as that red candle began, I thought those two wicks are good news for me. So I just rode that thing all the way down, got a little sneaky 775er. Happy days.
Yeah, that was massive, man.
Yeah, that was a good trade. I was buzzing all day long. So it was just right place, right time. And because I know how to short the market, because I have an education in the crypto space rather than just FOMOing in, the old me honestly would have gone in for a long. And I would have thought, oh yeah, this is going to the moon, and then just jumped in and then just bombed and lost everything I put into it because by the when you put in 50 and you end up with 5, you think, oh well, I'm just gonna get out of it, so takes a good person to hold for a long time. And but yeah, that was a good one.
Good trade, because if you look at if a lot of people don't realize the significance of wicks and that, like those two massive wicks at the top here sort of indicate there's a strong reversal coming, because price has been pushed all the way up here and then been pushed all the way back down to where it's closed, and then it's tried to do it again in the next candle. It's been pushed all the way up and closed. You got this big inverted hammer, which is like at the top of a price movement. That's a reversal hammer, so
and my point of exit on that short, and I actually use technical analysis. So if you draw a line from that wick to the left of that pump, that last green wick to the left of that pump, just straight down there.
Yeah.
No, like down at the bottom of that. So it's like just straight. Yeah, straight. Keep going down. Down. There, that one there. So that was my point of exit on the short, because it lined up with previous market structure there on that wick. So I actually, so I actually rode both of those red candles to a T, and it was just so good. It was just one of those ones that worked.
I was just looking as well. I drew the fibs on, like you could have caught a second, perfect horseshoe set up there as well. For that second one. Retraced it was 61.8. You would take profit there. Like you would have missed out on a little bit, but that would have been a delicious trade.
Yeah. All right, so let's throw it open to the public. Anyone got anything they want to share? Anything they want to talk about? Anything they want to look at? RSI, Gabriella, no, I didn't look at any of that. I just literally looked at the wicks, support, resistance, trend line. I don't really look too much at too many indicators. I just find them too much to handle on my chart. My brain's pretty simple. I'm a pretty simple guy, and I'm a support, resistance, trend line kind of guy. Maybe I'll throw things on just to confirm if I'm looking for it, but usually I can find confirmations in and among those things. So yeah. All right. Amber, I think, said that she wanted to share a chart just before we got online. So Amber, I might throw it open to you if you want to throw your screen on, microphone on,
Yeah,
and share away. If she's still there, she's there. Yep.
Me?
Yes. Would you like to share your chart?
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, let's do it. We've got you.
Yes,
Don't
let's
worry.
go.
Thank you for jumping on. That's awesome.
Let me see. How do I do it here?
So it should
Where are you
just-
from, Amber?
I'm from Paris.
Ah, viva la France. Happy days.
Vive en français.
Oh, ça va?
Mhm.
See, I know.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah. Je parle français.
You're impressive. Okay, so I was looking at it. I think that this coin is quite nice to trade because it's less syndicated than some of the alts that are sometimes tend to dump or pump for no reason. So yeah, I'm using this one, and also it gives me good rates on Trader Make Money. That it's kind of give me indicator on my success on different trades I'm making on certain coins. So it's kind of well rated.
So that indicator you've got on your chart there is Brody's indicator,
this
isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Cheers for that. It's very nice. It gives you immediately the market structure. And I started with a daily. Just jump in if you have any comments. I'm
No, you're right.
actively mute, so no worries.
That's good.
So started with the daily, put support and resistance. I'm just gonna take it off. Maybe it's too crowded. And then went down to the 4 hours, and you see a uptrend. In the same time, I realized there is divergence on the CCI. So that was the main thing that caught my attention. And then I went into a lower time frame to check what's going on. So I went into 15 minutes where I could see a nice night candle, shooting star right here. And that's where I entered.
Oh, good. And I'm just trying to.
This is the whole story.
Yeah. So you're confident that it's going to kind of drop that far?
No. No, this is just. This is.
I love that honesty. That's awesome.
No, I'm just basically I'm entering. Usually, I did not do it here because I traded it's very small trade. But usually, I'm doing a pyramid entry.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using different entry points to kind of dollar cost averaging.
Yep.
And also my exits are. I usually like to kind of balance my entry, and then the rest I let it run more. You know, if I'm next to my computer, I try not to be greedy.
Yeah.
And just leave when it's positive and let some of it run.
So an example of staggering your entries is that if you're, say, commit $10 to the trade and you put like $6 in and then $2 in and then $2 in, you're still losing the same amount, but your risk, it actually brings your stop loss to a greater risk reward. So it's something that we might look at in another night, but Seds in our group is really kind of talks about that a lot, that he does that. So it's something that you may want to consider rather than putting all the $10 in on the trade. You could look at staggering your entry. So yeah, so are you looking for it to kind of, obviously it will need to break that trend to go short. So I'd be keeping a really strong eye on that trend line if I was you, making sure that that indeed does break that trend, because you don't want to kind of miss it if it does turn around and go long. And considering Bitcoin's kind of pushing that resistance, it's one that I probably wouldn't walk away from. But you know, if you've set your stop loss in the right position and things like that, and you're your 1% is all done, then that's fine. But yeah, it could kind of keep bouncing off that resistance. So just be cautious about that one. Louis, what's your thoughts on that one, mate?
I quite like it, I think you've done quite a good analysis on it.
It is a good analysis. Yeah, you've really thought about it.
I think my personal opinion is
now I have 12% like up on this trade.
Yeah.
So for me, it's already a good point to take some of the. I'm really practicing because I blowed up quite a lot during the bull run, so I'm working more on my psychology right now because I know for a fact that it's very easy once you work that out. I really blow up big time. So really my my work is on this. So I don't trade big, and I'm more try to really fix my lifestyle to that, not to be too addicted to the computer, spend some time with the people I care about. So it's more my path. I mean, everyone has his own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And you've done the right thing in putting your stop loss above that previous structure. You've got your take profit in line with the previous structure. What were you going to say, Louis?
I think my only comment is I just think you might be being a bit advantageous with your take profit because I just it's just my thoughts. Like this is a huge push
you put
up.
it where? You would put it where?
I kind of there that wick there would be my area of interest. But again, what I was saying before,
you could if you zoom through there. Like
if you zoom out, you'll probably see your EQ through there. So the other way. So zoom out rather than in. And try and find where you might find that EQ zone through there. So you can see where you've kind of, right there, there's that. So if you put another line through there, you can, somewhere around there, you're kind of looking at a bit of an area there where it's going to need some momentum to push through. So it may drop and take there. It may keep going, but that would be a definite take profit zone for me. I'd probably be closing 50% of the position at that point.
Because logic says like it's had a huge push up without any pullback, so logic says it's due for some sort of pullback. It's looking pretty bullish according to the indicators there for me. So I think there's a bit of a pullback coming for a continuation up. Like you had huge volume on the push up,
If you draw
the pump, but another way you could try and sort of identify a take profit level is you can draw fibs, like fibs low to high on that whole bullish move.
I was about to say that. So put your fibs on basically on your support line. No, the other way around.
No, like from the whole push up. So from the bottom.
From the daily support, from there. Okay. From the daily support line. Okay. All right, so we'll help you out.
From where?
So
down to up?
From your daily support line, where the black trend line meets your daily support line. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Sort of with Lewis has drawn them, So 61.8 comes in. Your 50 is right where your take profit is now. And your 61.8 is below that. So I definitely think that green zone that you've drawn there is probably more realistic for a retrace, for a comeback to the 50 and then potentially keep going up. That's my opinion anyway, Lewis.
Yeah, like I'd at least have that as like a managed trade area where like maybe take like a partial profit, like a 50% or something. Because it could ride all the way back down, especially like we've got like big news event. We've got a news event tonight in the US, and then we've got a massive news event on Thursday. Like you got FOMC, and if there's a negative reaction from Bitcoin, you'll probably hit that take profit quite easily. That initial take profit you had. So I mean, Bitcoin could pull it all down quite easily. So I mean, I'd probably have a managed trade area at that first point that you have marked out there.
Yeah.
And then decide what you want to do from there. Whether it looks like the market's reversing from further continuation up, sweet, pull out your trade, carry on.
Yeah, you don't want to get too greedy in this market. I've fallen guilty of that. Like you just think, oh, yeah, it'll keep going for another little bit, but it just doesn't. So it's a bit tossy and turny at the moment. So just anything you can find that's green, take it.
Yeah.
Agree.
But that's your analysis was really good though, and your justification was really good.
I really like it. I think it's a good entry.
Yeah, and your position of your stop loss is really good in that it's above that last wick or the push up. So yeah, so take a lot out of that. I mean, I hope that you prove us wrong and it goes all the way back down where you think it was going to go, for your sake. But it's just one of those things that you just be cautious, and the time where you are would be probably about 1:15 p.m., wouldn't it? So if you're able to push it and keep an eye on it, then maybe that's something you'd like to do for the afternoon. But it's one of those things that you definitely want to keep your eye on at that zone.
Okay,
Thank you, Amber.
so
I appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much.
Thanks for sharing. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. So anyone else want to jump on and share something? John, you had your first real money win during the week. You want to explain that to us?
Yeah, sure. It was excuse the pig in the background.
Congratulations, by the way, mate. That's
yeah, cheers.
That's a big deal.
I'll just share it. Yeah.
So John's been in the space about 5 or 6 weeks. He's actually a part of my team, and he's very committed and dedicated to learning. Jumped on last week and shared a trade that was quite nice, and he actually took a money trade and it bombed out on him. But I said, "Don't give up, mate." And here he is now. Trade 2, winner.
Yeah. So this is Atom. You touched on it earlier, where you were saying that it broke the trend.
Yep.
So yeah. So
I
I should be sharing. Yep.
Yeah.
I can't see it. Here we go.
Yeah, I try now.
Here he comes.
Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, it's broke out recently, and I think I took the trade. Was it Sunday? Might have been maybe Sunday night, I think. And yeah, it just followed this channel straight up, and yeah, pretty lucky that. Well, I mean, even if it would have come down here, then it started to still been in. But yeah, I mean, yeah, my logic was really just the bullish trend of that channel, really, and the fact that it wasn't breaking the resistance and the support at all, and it was just following it.
I'm a bit disappointed. I'm a bit disappointed in you, mate. Why didn't you catch it at $12? Why'd you wait so long?
yeah, I know, right? Yeah, but no, pretty happy with it. I think as I alluded to you, I messed up the position size calculation stuff a bit in OKX, but we learn from these things, so I didn't make much of it. But it was the point of getting the percentage win and the analysis right and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. pretty chuffed with it, really.
And why did you take your take profit there?
I was really I took it so that it came above this resistance line here and just took it across. I mean, I thought that I was safe that if it carried on going up the channel, it would just slowly go up, and it didn't have much to go until it took the profit. I mean, I could have been more adventurous and took it a bit further up, but no. But I thought I was safe with where the stop loss was, because it just wasn't breaking that support line. So either way, I thought I was going to come out with profit on that one.
Bet you would have been watching it like a hawk too.
I flipping was too right.
I know, John. I know, John. I've spent a bit of time with John, and I can just imagine he's got like press it, and there's like.
Well, as I work from home, so I had the trading laptop to the left of me, and I was working. And I was just watching the wicks go up and down.
Sure, you were working. Yeah, working on your trade cycle.
Yeah, sure, exactly. Yeah.
Just some advice that I would throw you is next time, don't trust that channel. Yeah. Zoom out and see if there's some sort of an indication there that you can use as you take profit. So, go back to your 4 hourly, your daily, try and find a line there that might just justify that. I mean, this time you got lucky. But it just might be something that you want to consider moving forward. But well done, mate. That's a big deal, and we're all We're all proud of you. So well
Yeah.
done, pal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of charts I'm just looking at just now that I wouldn't mind getting your opinion on.
Yeah, right.
Just a couple of things. There's this one here. Where are we?
Ooh.
So we got a falling wedge here. So we've got this uptrend here, and I mean I know we got this outlier here with the rise and fall of the price there, but generally it follows the trend of the falling wedge. So, and this black line here is just a sort of like a EQ zone following previous structure. So if I just so it's got a history of getting up to this level. So if there was going to be a push up to there, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to get to that level. So just wondered what your opinions on that were.
Can you just zoom back in a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, some of these coins are like right at rock bottom, so it's kind of you kind of think to yourself, well, the only way is up, really. Yeah, it could be changing market structure. I mean, it's created a higher high in that you have pushed past that wick to the left, that are just above the number 10 there.
Yeah.
So it's possibly creating a bit of a bullish market structure.
What's your low to high fibs on that whole move?
Yeah.
Let me.
So where Lewis has drawn those two lines, yeah, what's that look like? Something that when I was first beginning, probably didn't take into account enough was Fibonacci. I kind of thought, oh, this is too complicated, I'm not going to use that. But it's definitely something that you do want to check when you've got a turnaround there like that. Similar to my Chili's move, I'm using Fibonacci purely to see where that push could be. So, Lewis, weave your magic here, mate.
I'm just sort of expecting a lower retracement. That's just my thoughts, especially with stuff like this, like massive wicks, like big wicks to the top side.
Yeah, that's the only
Darth Maul candles in there. Don't like them. Yeah, I'm just sort of feeling like you're going to get a deeper retracement on that.
You've also got some pretty strong bearish engulfing candles emerging as well. Like, the pushes are hard. It's not a gradual thing. So right now there's one forming there as well. So I'd probably just see, John, what that does.
Yeah, sure.
And I'd keep that stop loss. Keep that long position there, but maybe just let it play out. You don't want to enter it too early. Let it play out, and perhaps even at the top of that wick, draw a line across just to remind yourself, that wick that I showed you to the left before. Maybe you just want to put a rail.
This one here.
Maybe you want to put a ray or something through that just to see a bit of an interest zone for you, or even draw a bit of a rectangle, like a transparent rectangle that you might want to just have it as an interest point. So just keep an eye on. So that's something that I'd probably just have a bit of a zone through there, that kind of just a bit of a watch zone. And then if you've got the right version of TradingView, you can set an alert when that's exiting there. Yeah, so that's something that it could turn around, but those, like Louis said, those upward wicks and those bearish engulfings are a little dangerous.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay.
I like the idea though. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and especially when you're kind of just starting out, it's definitely something that you want to familiarize yourself. You want to take the good and the bad and familiarize yourself with the good and the bad. And I always say to the people in my team, make sure you are watching to learn rather than paying money to learn. Sometimes it's okay just to do that. Lewis, you're onto something here in the chat, so I'll let you take over, mate.
Yeah, Daniel just asked before if we could chat at EOS. He shared a chart in the chat. I'll just check it out real quick. Give me 1 sec. So Dan shared this chart on EOS. which I quite like. It's a nice setup. However, for me, I just threw some lines on it myself as well. Yeah, great break retest. I do like it. However, Bitcoin I think is just puts me off a bit too much at the moment. Oh, you could have your fibs probably there more likely. That's a great retest. And what do our candles look like?
That's very similar to Chili's, that one. Same kind of setup.
Yeah, it's just
very
little,
yeah.
This is all a little bit choppy through here. I do like that retest, but Bitcoin just doesn't really fill me with confidence at the moment. So I think we're gonna. I sort of suspect we're gonna have a little bit of a dump on Bitcoin, which means like this will just get pulled down. So even if you enter safely, at the moment, like with a stop sort of below the next fib level, like if you want to be safe, or even clear some of that market structure down there if you're going with a big target, that's still a good trade. But I mean, if we get a dump tonight on this news, that'll just get wiped. It'll quite easily come back down to that next sort of support level. So I think it's just great setup. And I mean, if you want to go for it, give it a crack. But it's anything could happen tonight. I'm just a bit concerned. That's all. So
yeah.
But yeah, you've got nice candles there on that support level that you want to. Like everything's there.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that if you do enter, I probably would bring the stop loss up a little bit, and like just below the next fibs area. So like around there, like a little bit lower even. Like you wouldn't make your, like that's kind of the one that you'd turn into something greater than 2 or 3 to 1, I think, at this stage.
Yeah, I agree.
So you try and get it. You try and set it up somehow so that was more a 4 or 5 to 1, so that your stop loss wasn't huge.
Yeah.
And you just
scenario, like if Bitcoin pumps off the news tonight, like you'll probably even get a greater take profit than that. Really, these could fly. So I mean, it'd be good high risk to reward trade if you want to take a gamble.
Yeah. So what I'd do is I would set probably a 50% take profit at the top of that green box, wherever that was, with the right analysis, and then just let it ride after that. If it comes back down by the time you wake up in the morning, it might just be sitting where it needs to be, and you've made your 100% and get out of it. If not, it could be keeping on riding. So it's a hard one, but yeah, it's good analysis.
It is finding a bit of support at this level, and I know like this is only a 15-minute chart, but like you've got this massive wick to the bottom, and it still wasn't enough to push price up. Like then you had a big bearish engulfing afterwards. Like
it's also getting
sell pressure there.
It's getting weaker and weaker off that push too. So it's pushed right up, and then it's come down, and it's halfway pushed back, and then it's come down, and it's quarter way pushed back. So it's one of those ones that could go either way. But my advice would be take a short stop loss and bring your risk to reward higher.
But don't forget that a descending triangle in an uptrend is a continuation pattern. So it could be, who knows, mate? Who bloody knows?
Wouldn't it be good if we had all the answers?
Oh, I know.
I'd love that.
I do really like that setup though. That's the sort of stuff that I would trade.
Yeah.
It would make this more delicious for me as if Bitcoin was trending upwards, and I'd be on this like a rash.
Oh, totally. I'd be on it like a rash on a rash. Kim, you got something for us to do with OKX? OKX can get a bit tricky with questions and answers. Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Good. Yeah, not bad.
How's life in South Australia? You and Brody having fun there?
Oh, I don't know. He's the other side of the city to me anyway. I never see him.
Oh, right.
Yeah, pretty wet for us at the moment. A bit of localised flooding and stuff like that going on from all the weather.
Yeah, right.
No.
So you and Brody, do you ever see anyone else in Adelaide? There's hardly anyone there, isn't there?
Nah, that's about all there is here, mate. There's no one else around.
Okay. So you don't like each other very much, and you live on either side of the city. Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Nah, it's all pretty funny. But yeah. Anyway,
How can we help you, pal?
yeah, man. Trying to work out how to move stop losses and take profits after you've set them, and then to take partial profits.
Yep. So on OKX, you actually have to delete it. So you go into your positions and you will delete your entire stop loss and take profit position.
Yeah.
And what you do is you just reset it. What you do with respect to taking the profit, say 50%, is you can't do that if when you set the trade, you put on your take profit, you can't actually do it after that. So you've got to delete it. And then what you do is you come in and you set your take profit position, slide your slider across to 50% if that's what you want to take. Then you put a different number in for a take profit and slide that across, say, to 30%, and then do it again for the remaining 20.
Yeah, I think that's the part I'm having trouble with. Like when I move the slider, it's sort of nearly always coming up with need to have funds or whatever.
Yeah, so
I'm not quite sure what number I'm meant to be putting in there when I'm adjusting it.
So what that happens to, sometimes if your liquidation and leverage is too high and it's too close to your liquidation, OKX won't acknowledge it. So if you've got, say, above 10x or 10x or more on OKX and you've got your take profit, let's just say that you're in profit and you try to take profit, it's too close to that take profit for OKX to accept it.
Yeah.
So what you're better off doing is setting your 50 and 30 and 20 take profit zones right at the point of entry. Yeah. And that way you might have some success. Just have a go at that this week. And then next week, if you're still having no success, maybe contact me or Lewis directly and we'll try and go in and see what you're doing. And then maybe we can make it public next Tuesday night and how to fix that up.
I think that's probably all I'll need to do is just see how one of you guys is setting them up at one point, and that'll...
Yeah, so
it's not much in it. It's just I haven't quite been able to sort it.
Yeah, OKX is a tricky one because if it gets too close to the liquidation price, it'll actually stop you out as a safety measure for them.
Yeah. Right.
So like sometimes I put in a 50x trade and it actually stopped me out on a stop loss that wasn't even close to my stop loss, but because it was moving quickly, it actually would have been a successful trade, but it actually stopped me because it was so close because of the leverage.
Yeah. Right.
So when you're using leverage, the game kind of gets a bit different. So just try a couple like you're doing on smaller leverages and see if it works. And then nine times out of 10, that would be the problem.
Yeah. Because I came over from FTX and that was easy because as soon as you put your take profit and stop loss in, it shows everything up on the screen and you could just grab it and slide it.
Yeah, but you can only do 2 or 3x, can't you? On FTX?
You can only do 2x on FTX now, so it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I was the same as you, Kim. I was FTX for like 12 months before they cut the leverage, and then I came across OKX, but FTX was a great exchange to trade on. It was so user-friendly.
Yeah, I still use it a little bit and play. It's just, it's a lot easier when you can use a bit more leverage.
I might actually do a few screenshots and stuff for you for that one because it took me a bit of stuffing around to figure out how to do exactly what Damo said. So I'll do up a few screenshots and just give you like a bit of a step-by-step on how to do it.
Yeah, right, that'll be sweet.
Make it a bit easier to sort of walk you through it because it's confusing as hell if you haven't done it. And they've just, I don't know about you guys, but OKX has just changed their interface again in the last week, and the new system's shit. Yeah, you don't have the slider now, and you can't sort of, you can enter with your take profit and stop loss, but you've got to go through different screens. And now it's not as easy now as what it was before. But
yeah. So I actually use my phone to take the trade. So I do all the analysis on the computer and then use my phone as another screen to take the trade because I just find the app so much easier and user friendly than the actual computer version.
Yeah.
I rarely take a trade on the computer for that reason because it's just too tricky. So that might be something you want to look at too.
Yeah, I'll play around on the phone a little bit with it all as well.
But mate, reach out. It's easier for a more complicated question like that if you reach out like to one of us during the week,
Yeah,
or send us like create a group with the three of us, and
that'd be cool.
that way we're able to kind of answer your questions, because I can guarantee you're not the only person asking it.
Well, that's why I thought I'd ask on here, because I figured I'm probably not the only one that's
Yeah.
struggling with this, and there might be others that wanted the same sort of help.
Yeah, well, solution trial number one would be just do as I suggested, and then we'll come back and touch on it next week, mate.
All right, sounds good, man.
Right. Yeah.
I won't be about next week, afternoon shift, so
Oh well,
don't get to catch anything on Arvos.
we're not going anywhere. Yeah, sweet.
Nah, that's it.
Anyone else?
Cheers for that, guys.
No, you're right, mate.
No worries, man. Thank you.
Yeah, Damo, I might share as soon as you're into your channels. I just got a channel chart up.
Here he
on
comes, Chrisso.
API.
How good?
So give us your feedback on that if you can.
I know, mate.
Oh, wrong one.
Retest.
Can you see that?
Sure do.
Yeah, so I've got that channel set up there, then it's broken structure to come down and retest. And so you know, is that looking like it's bouncing off the 6-1 fibs too? So just waiting for some more bearish confirmations before I'd be confident on entering a short on that. Otherwise it might jump back up into and go break back through and then wait for another break retest above resistance.
Yeah, I'd probably draw a zone there. Probably draw a zone kind of at the bottom of that bullet, bottom of that hammer where it is at the moment, and then draw another zone up a little bit above the 61.8 and maybe catch it if it exits that zone. So draw a rectangle. So like just below the 50, I guess you want to start it. Is it the 50? That's that red one. Yeah. And then just bring it up a little bit more above into the channel.
What do you mean? Like?
So a bit higher, and then grab the bottom. No, not that high, just a little bit more. Yeah, about there. Up a little bit. Yeah, about there. And then bring the bottom rectangle down a little bit just to catch the tail of that hammer that's just on the last candle, and then move your rectangle. Yeah, move it that way. So I'd probably be waiting for it to exit either one of those zones if I was going to enter something like that. It's kind of formed. It's kind of formed a W a little bit, I guess you could say. So you can see there that it might kick up or it might come down. So yeah, it's in a bit of a danger zone. But how's it looking? Just trying to make sense of it. It's hard when you're looking at someone else's chart. See, it's got a double bottom there on that support line. So
yeah,
that's kind of nice, and it's touched there retrospectively, so it's a bit of an EQ zone as well. Is there anything to the left of where it is, like where it's sitting? Yeah, see, see that there, that structure at the top of that turnaround zone between those support and resistance line, just above where you are. Yeah, there. That's a bit of a danger zone. See how that sits in that channel, that rectangle that we've just drawn. Yeah. So if you draw it, see that rectangle sits exactly in it. So I'd be looking for it to break past that. Maybe the rectangle that you've drawn is probably a little bit too high to the north. Yeah, so you could probably work on it breaking either side of that, just because of that structure to the left. So guys, that's what I was saying before. You want to see that structure to the left and make sure that you are taking into account where it's rejected before, because it may. Because it's above, isn't it? It's, if you zoom back into where it is now, it's above that resistance support line. Yeah, so it's above the support line, so it could pop up. But again, I'd just be following what Bitcoin does on that one. I think I actually charted that one earlier. So if you're happy to just kind of, maybe I'll throw it to you, Louis, if you got something to add there. I'll just try and find mine and see what that looks like.
I don't know. It's sort of.
It's sitting at resistance on a 4-hour. So if I just.
It's hard to read.
Yeah, if you draw.
I'd be more inclined to horseshoe that, to be honest.
Yeah, if you're. There is a
Are you
channel.
looking for the horseshoe? Is that what you're looking at, Chrisso?
Yeah, well, initially like because it's broken out and bouncing off the 61.8, and then if I was to enter, like, well, not now that Damo's put that thing there, but even 12 weeks and
Zoom out. Like, if you go on the 4 hour and zoom out,
The reality is, Chris, though, if it doesn't push through where it is now, it's weak and it's creating different structure because
this
it
is
like
what I'm seeing. It's like channel, dump, channel, dump.
Yeah.
Channel. What comes next?
the channel that it's
There's a
created.
pattern.
The channel that it's created now, though, is higher than the one previously. So that
Yeah,
gives you a
that's-
little bit of hope. The turnaround zone at this, there was at least a turnaround zone there being formed. So it could, in fact, be creating new structure. Like if you just look at the last channel dump and this channel, you could look at that as a change in market structure in a bullish direction.
yeah.
So, Chrisso, I'd just be setting 2 wicks, two rays with 2 alerts, and just let it fall out of there either way, and just
Cool.
just draw it up as a 3-to-1 either side or something like that, and then make your decision once it moves.
Yeah, and I've just also got cheers for that. I've also got ADA, just for break and retest on this one to the upside. Depends what bid he's doing, but if it comes down, it's got a bit of a fall to go, but it's in an initial downtrend. So
yeah, a lot of the coins are coming to that wedge formation.
Yeah. So it's like, there, but it's broken there, pushed up, and it's consolidating for a bit now. So just wait and see what that does. Just pretty much like most of what the coins are doing. So
yeah, that wick. The problem with that one is that wick to the left is kind of scary because it's just pushed and dumped. So me personally, I'd be waiting for it to clear that too. But that's just my opinion. I wouldn't be entering it straight off that blue zone there that you've drawn. I'd be entering it above that point. I'd be entering it above that line. Wait until it clears through that zone completely. But that's just me. Like if you do your own thing, but like I would look for another coin if it was me.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you reckon, Lewis?
I think you're crazy, mate.
Why?
I just think you're crazy.
Why?
I agree. I think that's the safer play.
Thanks, mate.
I think what you've got drawn up there, Chrisso, is good too. Like where your short entry is, because that's where you want to be looking for a short below that level. I think that's good.
I think your short entry. I think your short zone's right, but you've just got a couple of longer wicks there that could be a little bit dangerous on the longs.
Yeah.
But then again, if Bitcoin goes, that'll go with it. And
I'm always more bearish than I am bullish anyway. So that's usually my bias. But I haven't had them both drawn up.
Yeah, just set them both and cancel the other one.
I think we're going to see some big volatility this week, especially on Thursday with FOMC. Like that's always a massive one.
There's definitely some vibes there, of a bit of a turnaround, but it's just too early to tell. Like when you zoom right out on Bitcoin, you realize how insignificant this move is. Am I stressing you out, Lewis?
No, Gabrielle was stressing me out. I said I'd make the price scale bigger, and I did see, like, I've changed the setting on like my chart, but then when I click on a different tab, it's like back to like my default scale size. It's because I've got these tabs open for ages, so I just need to close them all and start again. But I have changed it. I promise I changed it. I listened to you.
You only had one job.
I did it, but it hasn't transferred across the
it was a good request, and you failed to meet it. What kind of a host are you?
All right, that's the end of the call.
Hey, anyone else got anything else for anyone else?
Yeah, it's if no one has anything else, I think we might call it there. Like
It's been
pretty
an hour and a bit. Yeah, look,
really
it's
dependent on what
it,
this big dog's doing.
yeah, it's one of those ones, guys, that you know, it's good. Like I've picked up some hints tonight too from people's analysis, which is great. But it's one of those ones that until Bitcoin moves, we can't kind of offer, you know, any super golden nuggets. But yeah, so I've shared a couple of what I'm looking at in the charts and in the chats, and I'm sure Lewis will pop a few in the next day or two when he sits down and has a good look. But we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin. But what I can encourage you to do is keep sharing your charts in the chats, and you know, in like a lot of people just put in their thoughts on, let's say, ADA, like thoughts on ADA. It's like, okay, that's great, but the better way to get like, I guess, feedback is to actually say, this is what I'm looking at on ADA, and that way we're able to kind of support you. You'll notice I'm pretty active in the chat there. Lewis is quite active too, and he's not doing other things. And it's one of those things that, like, the more you share and the more you are open to constructive feedback, the better you'll get. And it's not one of those things that you can just do alone. Like, we've all been there and we've all tried to trade alone, and we've not had the greatest success. So the more you can actually sit there and like, I throw charts up, some work, some don't. But it's always do your own analysis, but it's always good to kind of get some feedback off people that do this, you know, more than maybe you do, or have more time or experience than you do. So, you know, it's well worth doing, and it's just a matter of copying it, throwing it in there, typing a few keys, and your confidence will grow, and hopefully your account will grow with it. So I strongly encourage you to do that. Next week, we might open it up after the boot camp to some public members too. So, you know, it's just been us the last couple of weeks because of the boot camp. So we've had a real opportunity to kind of share with each other what we're looking at. And but yeah, if you keep sharing in the chat, that'll be awesome. I'll just have a quick look at the chat just in case I missed something. Lewis, if you got anything to say.
Yeah, Gabriella just asked for a quick assessment S&P, and this is, like, I normally always have it charted up, and this is sort of what I see at the moment. So we're sort of we've approached that EQ zone, and I think we're going to have a rejection off here. I really do. So still sticking to that sort of downtrend since we've been in since when's that, start of the year. Like, that's when the market sort of started to turn and hasn't recovered. This is the big EQ for S&P. So this is like the top of, like, after the COVID recovery, this is where it topped out, went sideways for a minute, and then started to continue up again. So if we sort of lose that level, like, I'm pretty bearish. I'm really bearish even on these markets. Like, that's sort of what I'm predicting. Like, I'm sort of expecting another 15% of, like, the big indexes. It's a scary thought, but I mean, I'm still really bearish on the whole, like, you know, global economic state's just not looking good. Hey, like, currencies are collapsing, everything's just bleeding. The war doesn't help, and inflation's out of control, and I just got my, like, 5th interest rate rise in, like, bloody 3 months on my mortgage. So, like, spending's getting tight, and like, it's just tightening up. The whole world's just tightening up. Hey, and I don't think there's money out there to push any of these things out of downtrend yet.
Yeah, there's never a good time to buy a house at the moment. I just bought one, and I've just received that news today. I'm like, oh, all the projections that the broker's just done have just gone straight out the window. So yeah, you're definitely tightening the belt, and that's the thing. What people need is surplus money to be able to pump into crypto. So until that happens, and the market, like the economy, turns around a little bit, definitely proceed with caution.
We just need a trigger. Like, all that's going to start the next bull run is a trigger, and it could be any combination of things. Like, it could be us coming out of a recession, interest rates dropping, lots of stuff. People have more free money. It could be something as extreme as, like, currencies collapsing, like what they're doing, like the pound being weaker than the American dollar for the first time in forever, like stuff like that. Like, currencies, if people want to put their money where it's not going to lose value, and if holding it in currencies is going to start losing value, which is what it has been doing for the last 3 months, people are going to look to other assets, gold, oil, all that sort of stuff, and you know, it's and that's, to me, that's where we're going to see a big flip eventually, is when people look to like crypto as their store of currency.
We've also got
We're shaping
sorry.
up. We're shaping
Sorry.
up to that time.
We've also got a wave of the next generation who are interested in crypto as they graduate school and find alternatives to working and stuff like that with the COVID hangover. I think we're going to see a shift. Like, I don't think it's too far away, but it's definitely something worth considering. Branham.
Thanks to you, Damo, doing the Lord's work in the schools.
Yeah, mate.
Spreading the good word of crypto.
I do. You got to
your angry letters.
You got to spread the word wherever you can.
About these bitcoins.
Branham, let's change the subject.
Well, I was actually going to continue on, and I was just going to say, keep your eyes open for whenever the U.S. has their midterm elections too, especially when it comes to like the DOJ or the Dow Jones and the S&P.
Yeah.
All I know is that it could go either direction depending on who takes control of our Congress. So I would just keep eyes open for that. I don't think it's this week. It could be. I don't know, but I would just be mindful of that too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks, and from everything I've been following, I think I don't really understand how it works, but whatever Joe Biden's party is, from what I understand, it's got virtually no traction. So it's like a flip.
Yeah, I don't want to get too political, but yeah, you're kind of right in that. But like I said, though, and this is my prediction: if the opposite party that's in control now takes over in November, maybe we go up, but
pump.
Yeah, but if things stay the same that they are, I would just keep projections the same, and that we're going to continue to fall down. So, that's just my opinion on it.
You could see a bit of a pump this week anyway, because I mean, people react positively to the party which pumps the market, or not pumps the market, but has a positive effect on the market. So you could see like artificial pumping over like leading up to the midterms, just so it's like it creates that
sentiment, that good feel.
That good feel, yeah, exactly. And people like, oh, okay, well, look, the market's pumped this last week, and we've had a 5% recovery. Maybe Joe Biden's onto something here, and maybe we'll stay. So it's all quite. It's worth following the politics, because it reflects them. It's a market reflection.
Yeah, it will reflect it. Yeah. So I mean, these next 2 weeks are probably going to be really, really volatile. So.
Yeah. Hey, Brandon, while you've got your microphone up, mate, what's the go with you and Justin running your American call?
I have to talk with Justin a little bit more about it. Although I would like to start. We were discussing like Tuesdays at 8 p.m. or Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I got to talk with him a little bit more about it, but I would like to start next Tuesday though. So.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that Lewis and I've jumped on here to kind of help people, and the Branham and Justin Ferrer in America, and is it Danny and Joseph in the UK. So it's really, really cool that people are putting their hand up to help people. So you guys are in an awesome space, and having the opportunity to jump on calls with your colleagues or your friends, whatever level you're at, and getting that feedback directly, as well as all the stuff that's on offer, beyond us, it's just fantastic. So
it was your idea from one of the other calls earlier, I think last week. That is said that I was like, that's gold. I'm going to message Justin right now. And that's what I did. So.
Did you hear that, Lewis? I had a good idea.
That must have hurt.
It was good.
Brain a bit.
Yeah, I was probably drunk, but that's all right. It was good.
But you know what? It was still a good idea. So
yeah, it was a cracker. Yeah. Chrisso, appreciate your time tonight, mate. Appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate your hosting. So hopefully you got something out of it by doing so, mate. And thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And Lewis.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Yeah,
mate.
thank you, Damo. Thank you, Lewis.
Talk to you soon, guys. Thanks so much.
Pleasure as always, guys. Stay safe.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Abe.